The moment he finished speaking, Orvel burst in with Blake and dozens of other men. The second he was inside, he barked at Blake, "Seal the door! Nobody else gets in!" Blake nodded immediately. "Got it, boss." Quinton stared at Orvel, completely stunned. His mind went blank. Orvel Hudson, the kingpin of Oris Hill City's underworld. Quinton was just a small-time local boss, but Orvel was the king of the entire street scene. Everyone on the streets had to pay their respects to him. He never would have dreamed that coming to help Logan with some minor issue would bring Orvel himself into the picture. Logan didn't recognize Orvel. Seeing Quinton's terrified expression, he frowned and asked, "Quinton, what's going on?" "Who's this old dude?" The words were barely out of his mouth when Quinton started trembling with shock and fear. He grabbed Logan by the hair and slammed a fist into his face, breaking his nose. Quinton gritted his teeth and cursed, "You idiot! Don't drag me down with you if you want to die. That's Orvel Hudson." "What?" Logan was suddenly terrified. Orvel? The kingpin of Oris Hill City's underworld? Why was he here? Just then, Orvel strode over, his face grim, and kicked Quinton right in the groin. The kick sent a jolt of searing pain through him, and he dropped to his knees, his face turning ghost white. Orvel glared down at him and said coldly, "You dared to provoke Mr. Charlie. Are you tired of living?" After saying that, Orvel turned to Charlie, looking ashamed. "Mr. Charlie, I'm late. Please forgive me." The immense respect Orvel showed Charlie stunned everyone there. Logan finally realized just who he'd provoked, and he started shaking with fear. Charlie nodded at Orvel, then pointed to Quinton. "You know this guy?" Orvel replied, "I know him. He's just some small-timer who was stupid enough to cross you, Mr. Charlie. Just say the word and I'll handle it." Charlie nodded. "He's a real piece of work. The second he walked in, he was talking about taking me out. A guy like that is a menace to society. Make sure he regrets this for the rest of his life." Quinton was suddenly terrified. He made his living through brawling and intimidation. If he was really injured, how could he ever run the streets again? His life would be over. He was already on the ground, but he scrambled over to Charlie on his knees, crying, "Mr. Charlie, I didn't know who you were. Please, forgive me. I'll never cross you again." Charlie said coldly, "I already gave you a chance. You didn't take it." Just moments ago, he thought Charlie was a dead man walking, but now he realized he was the one who was dead. Panicking, he started banging his head on the floor, sobbing. "Mr. Charlie, please, just one more chance. Spare me!" Charlie ignored him. He looked at Orvel and asked, "Well, what are you waiting for?" Orvel snapped out of it and quickly ordered, "Get over here. Break his kneecaps." Immediately, several of his men rushed forward, grabbed Quinton, and slammed him face down onto the floor. Just then, Blake pulled out an iron rod and stepped forward. Quinton tried to beg for mercy, but Blake swung the rod high over his head and brought it crashing down. An injury like that, there's no coming back from it. Quinton was screaming in pain, but Charlie said, "That's not enough." Blake nodded, raised the bar, and smashed it onto Quinton's left knee. "Ah!" Quinton writhed on the floor in agony, his body convulsing. Orvel said to Blake, "Gag him. I don't want his noise bothering Mr. Charlie." "Right, boss." Blake immediately shoved a wad of gauze into Quinton's mouth and left him on the floor, curled up like a stray dog. Logan was already pale with terror. He finally understood just who he had messed with. Before Charlie even had to say anything, he dropped to his knees and started banging his head on the floor. "Mr. Charlie, I was wrong. I shouldn't have been so disrespectful. Please, have mercy on me." Arya was just as terrified. Seeing Logan on his knees begging, She dropped to the floor too, bowing her head and apologizing over and over. Charlie said, "You too. Do you really think begging for mercy is going to get me to let you go? You're both stupid and naive." The two of them trembled. Just then, a few men in black walked in, dragging two older, middle-aged people who were tied up. Both of them were bruised and bleeding, clearly having been beaten up. They threw the two people to the ground and bowed to Charlie. "Mr. Charlie, we brought the people you wanted." Logan and Arya looked over and almost passed out from shock. The two older men on the ground were Logan's father, Marcus, and Arya's father, Orion. Charlie had his men splash cold water on Marcus and Orion's faces to wake them up. Then he turned to Orion. "Mr. Hughes, your daughter is a cheater who goes around sleeping with other men behind her fiancé's back. Did you know about this?" Orion was terrified. He'd been beaten up before they even brought him in. He knew his daughter had caused some serious trouble. So to save his own skin, he shook his head frantically. "I don't know." Charlie nodded. "You don't know? That means you failed as a father. You weren't paying attention. Blake, break his left knee, just like you did to that piece of trash over there." "You got it." Blake immediately ordered the men around him. "Hold him down." Orion screamed in terror. "No! Help me!" Arya shrieked. "Dad!" Blake didn't hesitate. Orion felt a pain so bad he wished he were dead. His knee was completely destroyed. There was no way he'd ever recover from that. Then Charlie asked again, "I'll ask you one more time. Your daughter sleeps around and cheats on her fiancé. Did you know about this?" Orion cried out, "I know. It's my fault. I didn't raise her right. I'll be stricter with her from now on." Charlie scoffed. "So you knew, but you didn't do anything to stop it. You knew your daughter was messing up, but you didn't bother to teach her right from wrong. That means you have no morals yourself, and you enabled her bad behavior." After he finished speaking, he yelled at Blake, "Break his other leg." Orion couldn't believe it. Admitting he was wrong hadn't worked. Charlie still wasn't going to let him off the hook. He was so terrified he passed out. But Blake's iron bar woke him right back up with a jolt of agonizing pain. Orion had lived a long life. Why was he suffering like this now? He was sobbing uncontrollably. "Mr. Charlie, I really know I was wrong. From now on, I'll be strict with that ungrateful daughter of mine. I'll never let her do something so hurtful again," Charlie said dismissively. "You're pretty good at passing the blame, aren't you?" Those words made Orion tremble instantly. Charlie asked sharply, "Mr. Hughes, let me ask you something. My friend invested $100,000 in your restaurant. Why didn't you pay him back? Why did you lie and say my friend disrespected you?" Orion's face went white. He quickly said, "I was wrong. I was greedy and shameless. I really know I was wrong." Then he looked over at Darren, who was fuming on the bed, and pleaded, "Darren, I must have lost my mind. Don't worry, I'll pay you back that $100,000 with interest. Please, ask Mr. Charlie to have some pity on me. These old bones of mine can't take this kind of punishment." Charlie looked at Darren and asked, "Are you going to step in for him?" Darren shook his head firmly. "No, I won't help any of them." "Good," Charlie nodded, satisfied. "You've still got a spine." Then he turned back to the desperate Orion and said, "Not only are you a terrible father, but you're also disrespectful. And you tried to steal all the money my friend saved up over the last few years. How are you any different from scum?" Orion shivered with fear, crying and wailing. "Mr. Charlie, I'm a monster. I'm not even human. I deserve to die. Forgive me, please. I'm begging you. I'll be your slave for the rest of my life. I'll call you Master. Master Wade, just please forgive me." Charlie sneered. "Forgive you? You may be ugly, but you sure have some beautiful dreams." Then he said to Blake, "Break his right hand for me." Let's see if he dares to snatch other people's things after this." Orion cried out in despair. "No, Mr. Charlie, no!" Blake brought the iron bar down hard. "Ah, my hand!" Charlie said to Blake. "Gag him and toss him aside." "Got it." Blake immediately shoved something in his mouth and threw him over with Quinton. Arya was so scared she was losing her mind. So was Logan, and Logan's father, Marcus Weaver, was just as terrified. He looked at Logan, slapped him hard across the face, and yelled, "You damn idiot! Who told you to go messing around like this? You're going to get me killed!" Charlie looked at Marcus with a smile and asked, "What's this? Your son got together with my friend's fiancé and cheated on him? Are you telling me you didn't know about it, as his father?" Marcus was crying with fear. He didn't know how to answer. He had just seen the lesson Orion learned. He knew the drill. If he said he knew, his right leg would be broken. If he said he didn't know, his left leg would be broken.